All right, breaking right now, Boca Raton Police Chief Dan Alexander updating us on the latest on last night's deadly shooting near FAU. We are awaiting that press conference in Boca Raton right now. The chief, I'm being told, is on his way down to begin speaking about the details. We're hoping to get more details on what happened. We do know right now that a 19-year-old was left dead after being shot in his apartment complex last night. That happened near Florida Atlantic University. We're told that 19-year-old's name is Nicholas Acosta. He was an FAU student at FAU, and he was a business student. We're told that FAU sent out a statement just a short while ago saying that they are saddened to learn of the death of one of its students. Police right now are looking for 5 suspects. Here's the chief, Dan Alexander. Let's get to him right now. Let's listen.
I want to remind everyone that this case is less than 24 hours old, so we'll be limited in terms of what we can talk about. I am pleased, however, to announce that detectives from our agency have made an arrest in the murder of Nicholas Max Acosta. Earlier today, Donovan Malik Henry was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and robbery with a firearm. An interview with the victim's girlfriend revealed that she answered a knock at the door of her apartment and invited 2 males to enter. She recognized one of the males from a party in the apartment complex 2 months earlier. The girlfriend invited both males inside. A few moments later, she says 3 additional males came into the apartment and ordered her and Acosta to the ground. The girlfriend said that Acosta asked what's going on, and that is when one of the suspects shot Acosta. Video from the apartment complex surveillance system shows 5 men arriving in 2 cars, 1 black vehicle, 1 red vehicle. The suspects entered the building a few minutes before the shooting. The 5 suspects left in both cars at a high rate of speed shortly after the shooting. The victim's girlfriend said that Acosta sold marijuana out of the apartment in the past. She also said that a large bag of marijuana was missing from the kitchen counter shortly after the shooting. A check of Acosta's cell phone shows that he had a text conversation with one of the suspects prior to the shooting regarding a narcotics transaction. The conversation included Acosta sending the suspect the access code for the building. Boca Raton detectives were able to trace the cell phone back to Donovan Malik Henry of Miramar earlier today. Henry was arrested without incident in Miami Gardens. As I mentioned earlier, this investigation is still open, very active. Our detectives are still pursuing leads, and I'll take questions within that context.
At one point, you guys said you were looking for 5 suspects, so I guess you're satisfied with what you found and no longer looking for any more suspects.
We're going to continue to look for the 4 other suspects and people of interest. We have some leads, again, that I mentioned before that we're continuing to pursue and expect to have more developments in this case.
Will the man that's been arrested be brought here and go to court here, or will it be done in Miami-Dade County or Broward?
There's a process by which these arrest warrants are processed. Will be booked down in Miami-Dade, and then at some point be transferred here. And that's just part of the criminal justice process.
Is there any surveillance video you guys used?
Yeah, there's a number of pieces of evidence that we're currently looking at to include surveillance video. There are a number of pieces of evidence that we'll process from a forensics perspective to develop more support for our case. What other questions do you have?
Pretty quick. I mean, like you said, this is less than 24 hours, and you guys already have an arrest. Just talk about the police work and how fast you guys were able to, I guess, calm the campus. A lot of people are nervous.
Now, we're very fortunate to have a group of detectives and officers that are able to jump on us very quickly. Use of technology, the use of our forensics folks, our crime scene technicians, our analysts, did an outstanding job to achieve where we are at this point. Understanding there's a lot more work to do in this case, so we're going to actively pursue it, continue to pursue it. That's what we do.
Some people might say that this guy had it coming. I mean, it looks like he was involved in some shady stuff with marijuana and whatnot. I mean, is that any kind of excuse for somebody to kill him or to not go after the suspect?
Look, this is a tragic event, and ultimately have a family that's grieving over this loss of life. With that said, understanding that drug dealing is risky business, I think this is another example that we've seen it in the past, and unfortunately resulted in the death of a young man. A tragic event.
Chief, Mike from CBS 12 News West Palm. Has there ever been drug activity there before that has resulted in officers going? Have there been arrests there before for drug activity? And if you could give us any more insight into that, being that it is a college apartment.
Yeah, I think it's not uncommon in college communities, and not just ours, to have this type of drug activity. We pursue a number of different investigations. Our vice intelligence narcotics officers work that area pretty extensively. We don't talk about specifically where we are or what we're doing, but it is something we have to focus on. It's the very nature of a college town, in essence, and it's one of our challenges, and it's something that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Do you believe the suspect went to this apartment with the intent to shoot and kill Mr.
That's all part of the motive. The very specific motive is all part of our ongoing investigation, something we'll determine as time goes on. We don't speak to it now until we have more information.
The man arrested, did he come quietly, or did he say anything? Did he admit to it? Did he say anything to the detectives?
It's my understanding that he was arrested without incident. Any statements that he's made, any interviews are currently in progress, and it's not something we can really address at this point in the investigation.
Just to be clear, you said he was arrested this afternoon in Miami Gardens and he's from Miramar, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Where was he arrested? At his home? At a business?
All I can tell you is that he was arrested in Miami Gardens at the location. I don't have an exact address, just in Miami-Dade County.
The guy who was shot and killed, Nicholas, I was doing some research. I mean, you guys have had some run-ins with him in the past for dealing drugs?
I'm not familiar with his past, and I don't have his criminal history with me. That's all. Again, that'll be all part of what we reveal later on as this investigation continues. What else? All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.